The more consistent your organization is in its deliverable, the more consistent your leadership teams are in their communication.
And the issue with consistency so many times, Brandon, as you know, is it doesn't show up.
One thing on here is another law is that jumps out at me. Why business owners struggle so much is the law of consistency. So the people do not understand, and when I read that, I get it. Like, it slams me in the face that as a leader running an enterprise with 10, 100, 10,000 people, the more consistent your organization is in its deliverable, the more consistent your leadership teams are in their communication simplicity, so that people understand where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it, who they're supposed to do it with, and the impact that multiplies to everyone working that way together. And for business owners listening to this, this is like when I see one word that John uses or one law, I apply it through all aspects of the business, because for most business owners, they're so inconsistent. They're inconsistent about their targets. They're inconsistent about their goals. They're inconsistent about the law of the big picture. Like, where are we going? Why are we doing it? What's in it for everybody? They're so inconsistent with the deliverables that the employees following them can't create any momentum, because I call it whipsawed. They're always moved back and forth. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of consistency?
Brandon, consistency compounds. Let's just start there. It compounds. And so when we know the essentials, so consistency in the essentials, again, the things that you try to help put a person that makes a business really grow. I mean, there are certain things, you got to get the essentials, but consistency in the essentials, what happens? In fact, I was having this conversation earlier today with James Clear, who wrote the book Atomic Habits. And it's a great book, terrific book. One of the things he teaches real well is the fact that our work is stored up before it shows up. It's like an ice cube. If you go in and it's 28 degrees in the room, the ice cube, you turn the temperature up to 29 degrees, nothing happens, 30 degrees, nothing happens, 31 degrees, nothing happens. All of a sudden, 32 degrees, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, the ice cube's melting. Now, what happened? The consistency of moving the temperature up at 28, 29, 30 was just as effective as 32. 32 is just a breaking point. It's the guy pounding on the rock 1,000 times, and on the 1,000th time the rock cracks. He doesn't say, oh my gosh, that last time I did it right. No. He was doing it right the whole time. It just didn't show up. And the issue with consistency so many times, Brandon, as you know, is it doesn't show up. And so we sit there and we think, well, if it doesn't show up, I'll just blow it up. I'll quit, I'll leave, or whatever else. And so many people are real close to the rock cracking or the ice cube melting, but they stop at 30 degrees. In fact, what's sad is they were just about there when they quit. Tyler Perry and I had this conversation one time. It was fabulous. He said, I built a studio, it was too small, so I built another studio. It was too small, built the third studio, it was too small. He said, I got tired of building studios. I said, I'm not going to build any more studios. After 3 years of not building a studio and having his whole business go flat, Tyler finally said, okay, I'm going to build another studio. Now, here's what's interesting. In our conversation, it was probably about a 20-minute conversation on this. Let me tell you what you just said. When you can afford to quit, you can't afford to quit. And this is the big miss, because it's just being stored up. They stop a little short when the payday was just around. It was just half a block, just around the corner, and all of a sudden it happens for them. But because they don't see it, they lack consistency, and because they lack consistency, obviously, you can't birth it. And so therefore, they stopped pounding on the rock at 995, and it was 1,000 that the rock would have cracked. They're just that close.